My name is J.D. Stillwater. I'm your lay liturgist this morning. Some of you may know, some of you may know that our daughter, Robin, was born in a bus, a 1963 Gillig bus. This rusty old behemoth got 6 miles to the gallon on the highway, and in its previous lives had been the San Mateo County Library's bookmobile, then the mobile Peace and Nonviolence Library of the Great Peace March for Global Nuclear Disarmament, then the shabby but serviceable tour bus for the Peacenik Band Collective Vision, and lastly, Anne's and my first home together as a couple. When Anne and I were married, we had no jobs, no income, a toddler from a previous relationship, and we were living in a rusty old bus we inherited from an about-to-be defunct folk rock band. The year before, I had lived in a tent, so the bus was a luxurious step up for me. About 2 years later, Robin was born in the Utah desert while the bus was being repaired for the third time that week. In other words, we started out with very little. But this is not a rags to riches story. This is a story about generosity. I know that was a bit of a non sequitur, but just stay with me. Over the last 30 years, Anne and I have managed to go from rags to relative comfort. Economic class is always relative. As it turns out, most middle-class households in the United States are in the top 1% globally. So Anne and I have become the 1% on our modest salaries working in schools. Though middle class locally, we are privileged beyond belief in the global context of all humanity. But our early years of financial struggle brought us a great blessing. Over the years, each little increase in our earnings has felt like a windfall. And it has always been really easy to set aside more and more of it to give away because we knew we didn't need it. We were doing okay in that rusty old bus. If you look up advice for teaching children good money management, the experts almost always say to have the children divide their income into 3 piles, 1 to spend, 1 to save, and 1 to give away. Why would they say that? How is it good management? How is it good money management to give away your hard-earned cash? Well, I've noticed that when I feel free to be generous, when it doesn't feel like bleeding, when I can share the incredible excess in my life with unbridled joy and gratitude, I am actually, truly, no screwing around, a richer man. The more I can give with that attitude, the richer I am. I don't mean that I have more money, though I know some people would argue exactly that. No, I mean that feeling free to be generous is spiritually enriching, far beyond anything, any comfort, any happiness, or any resource that money could buy me. For Anne and me, the secret to unimaginable wealth has been to remember that beautiful, beloved, rusty old bus where our daughter entered the world. We were doing okay on about $5,000 a year, an unimaginable fortune to the vast majority of our fellow human beings even today. Now that we earn many times that, it's easy to take all that excess and make 3 piles. Each year before we buy a less dented car or a new computer or plan a trip, we make sure we feel good about the size of that 3rd pile. Not as in, do we feel okay about it being that big, but as in, is it big enough to make us feel really good about how we are sharing our resources? A few years ago, that 3rd pile finally topped 10%. And I can't tell you how thrilling it is to distribute money from that pile. I don't know why some religions have a 10% tithe. I do know how much I love giving it away. And there's no fear of hell operating in this man's head. Over the years, it has been a very here and now kind of heaven to give away what still seem like huge sums of money to me to causes we admire and care about, including this church community. We have fond memories of good times in that tired old bus. Last I saw her, she was slowly sinking into the Ohio mud, surrounded by several other dead buses and trucks. May she rest in peace. I have a photo of the bus if you'd like to see it after the service. But first, will you join in singing hymn number 355 in the gray hymnal, We Lift Our Hearts in Thanks.